Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now I know it's been quite a long time since I last uploaded, but sometimes life gets the better of you and trying to find time to shoot, edit and all of that stuff just takes way too much time. Now in this video you are joining me in my Golf GT, and what we're going to be doing is giving you like a little bit of a walk around on the car and some of the styling modifications that one I've already done and two what I'm going to be doing in this vid. So first of all, let me just remind you, I picked up this car. It's a Golf GT. It's a 2016 model year car and it's got a 1.4 TSI engine with about 150 horsepower, so it's not going to set the world alight, yeah. But I had this car now for about a month and I've used it as my daily commute alongside the Audi A7 which I've got. It's all fine, it's absolutely, you know, comfortable and all of that good stuff, but there's one thing that this car lacks. It's obviously not a GTI, it's clearly not an R, it's not a performance car whatsoever. Now I bought this car because I just wanted something that was going to be comfortable, and as some of you know, I sold my M4. Now this isn't a full-on replacement for the M4, but it's going to be something that I'm going to just use probably for this year before I buy something special again. So one of the things that I'm going to be trying to do with this car is make it a bit more personable, make it a little bit more, you know, for my liking, and you know, modify it tastefully. What I'm going to do now is quickly give you like a little walk around of the car as to what I've already done. Starting from the front end, the car had like a standard GT grille, which was like a one slatted with a bit of like aluminium, as you can see in this clip over here. And what I've now done is I've installed a mesh grille in taking inspiration from a GTI. I've also got some bespoke GT lettering as well, which we've added on. I think the front end with the grille just makes it look that little bit more different compared to a standard GT. Moving around the rear, there's two things that I've done here. The first thing that I've done is I've changed out the tailpipes. Now the tailpipes on this car were probably a little bit slim and they didn't really look that great, you know, in keeping with, like, let's call it the GT name. Now what I've done here is I've made use of like the MQB platform, and these tailpipes are actually for a Skoda Yeti. It's a brand new part off eBay, and as soon as you receive them you just slot them on over the existing pipe. They're much cheaper to buy for a Skoda than they are for a VW, and anyway, once you receive them you just kind of squeeze them on over the existing tailpipe, and they just look a little bit more aggressive and, you know, in keeping with, like, say, the style of the car. So I think what I'm going to try and achieve with this car is go for like the black and red theme. I think it's going to really make this car stand out. So one of the things that I installed yesterday was the rear spoiler. I've not really seen this spoiler on any other Golfs. You do see like the typical Golf R spoiler that pops up on eBay. That was something I was considering, but I kind of thought that's kind of been done quite a bit. And then the spoiler I fitted here, it's not like a branded thing, it's probably like, you know, just an eBay special. It does look a bit like a GTI spoiler, but it's slightly different as well in its own way, as you can see, and I'm quite happy like the way this spoiler is now kind of fitted and the way it kind of looks and sets off the rear end. So since I've owned the car, I've done quite a few styling mods from the exterior, like I've kind of mentioned before, and unfortunately I didn't really capture them in like a vid as such, and the only reason for that was sometimes it's just easy just to get on with it rather than trying to capture it all in. So one of the modifications that I'm going to be doing today is the rear light. I don't want to go and do this as a complete replica of the Mark 7.5, but I'm going to just change like the headlights and the rear lights on this car so that they're a little bit more upkeeping with, like, say, the current, like, say, lighting systems. I've now received like the LED lights which I'm going to be installing, so yeah, let's go to the back of the car and start installing those. So the idea today being we're going to swap out these halogen lights, and I've got the LED lights in there. Look at the state of my Audi, needs a clean on it. In order to take this out we need to go into the boot, and there's like a little flap there, as you can see, and that sprocket there, like a little spring, we just need to unscrew that and kind of pull out the light. And there's like a connector as well which we need to disconnect, so let's go ahead and do that first. So this little spring thing has just popped out, you just unscrew that, and then what I've done here is I managed to pull away this carpet thing, and that's the connector. So you pull that little red tab back and then you just push it out from the connector there. Hopefully now that's going to make this light a little bit easier to just kind of pull out. You've got essentially two sprockets there and then one down there, so we're going to pull it out. And also this light's got a bit of a crack on it as well, so it's a good job I'm actually changing these. I think all I'm doing is just giving it a bit of a tug here, and there you go, quite easy for it to come out. Should be quite an easy job. So if I put these side to side, that's the halogen light and that's the LED light. Now this one is all LED, so all the lights around here, whereas these ones are all halogen. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm doing this on my drive, so it's going to be quite a little bit noisy with the traffic and whatnot. This one I believe is from a Golf R, because it's a little bit more darker as well. You can get the GTI versions which are a little bit more cherry red, but this one I think is it's quite nice because it's a little bit more darker, so I wasn't really sure whether it was going to be the Golf R light or the GTI one, but hey ho, I've got this one, so I'm going to go ahead and literally just fit this in the reverse order as I managed to pull that out. That's what it looks like at the moment. Yeah, let's just get that one fitted. So I've just literally just offered it up to the car. Now obviously when you put that sprocket spring in, it's going to close off all of these gaps, but you can just see it just needs to fit in a little bit there. This is an OEM part, so there's not going to be any horrible panel gaps or anything like that, hopefully, so it should just be quite a nice fit and a finish. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead now, obviously connect that connector up and then put this sprocket on as well. Okay, and just like that, that is now in. Got a nice kind of a shot line there and all the way around. Just looks so much better compared to how like the halogen one was. I mean, if I come around this side, you look at the halogen light there and this one here, it's going to look quite nice, because obviously on this car here I've got all the LED lights on that one, which obviously look really cool, and then on here now I'm going to have LED lights on here. Now the only thing I'm going to say is obviously that is the indicator, and on the, when you shut the boot down, that indicator is going to be running all the way across into the other side, but you got to do some extra wiring that needs to happen from there to the other end. I might have to do that at another stage, because one, I don't really have like the time and the wiring to do, but hopefully the indicators will blink on this side anyway, so we'll go ahead and fit the same thing on the other side, and then we'll do the inner ones as well. So it's pretty much the same principle as what we've just done on that side. The only difference is here, when you pull out this light, the actual connector over there comes out from that hole, so it's a little bit more easier for access. So that's the only difference, but yeah, it might be an idea to just give this bit a bit of a clean as well. Yeah, what we'll do now is, obviously the light's just hanging there, we'll just remove this one and insert the new one. So in order to replace the inner ones, you got to get behind here now. So there's like a little flap here which we need to open up. Hopefully it'll just unclip, might just whack a screwdriver in there and whatnot, and the same goes on this side as well. Oh, it's a bit dark, but there you go. So once those come off, there's a couple of 8mm bolts. I've got my socket set here as well, and then yeah, we'll just whack them out. By the way, those lights are over here. So remove the trim, disconnect the connector, pull the red tab out. There you go, that's the connector. And then you've got an 8mm there and an 8mm there. Just take that out and then just pull the light out. So there's the two 8mm bolts that have come out from up there. Definitely don't try and lose them. So once you loosen them, the light literally, as you can see, just pops out, and it is just gonna pop out from here. Relatively quite easy, he says. Yeah, you just unbolt it from there, and there you go, you just lift it out just like that. So when you just put them next to each other, there is quite a difference between the two inner lights. Like that one is the halogen one. It's got a cool design, I suppose, because you've got the little L's and the square blocks, whereas this one's going to be all LED as well. These do have a few storage marks, I believe, but I'm sure I'm going to be able to somehow just polish them out as well. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead now and install that in the little hole up there. So once the light is placed, you're going to connect the connector back in there, and then those 8mm little bolts, you're going to end up just putting them, screwing them back in there. Basic job. And that's pretty much that. So guys, I really hope that you have enjoyed the installation process on installing the rear lights on this car. I really think that they do set off the rear end now, especially with the spoiler and the tailpipes and those LED lights. I do need to wire in the extension for like the inner LEDs, because obviously when you switch on the indicators, the inner light doesn't indicate, and that's because the wiring loom is missing, and I need to get that done, and I'll probably capture that in another video anyway. So if you have enjoyed the return of the content on the GT, then definitely consider subscribing, because I've got plenty more to do on this car, and I'm really gonna just go for it now, changing the bits over and, you know, making this car look a little bit more special than it already does, you know. And there'll be like the driving videos and, you know, giving you my impressions of what this car actually is. And one of the other reasons I actually bought this car was because not everyone can afford, let's say, a GTI or an R, but I kind of think if you get the standard Golf, maybe even in the GT trim level, doesn't have to be a GT edition, there's quite a few things that you can really do to the car, like the way I'm doing, to make this feel a little bit special. So anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this content, and hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.